The opening bell to closing for the Disney stock did not go well on Friday, but what about Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening on the same day? Folks, we're here to tell you they struggled to keep it open, they struggled to keep it running, despite what the influencers might say. But there's still some good news on the way. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. We are so excited to have each and every one of you out there joining us. We appreciate your time and the fact that you chose to click on this video, and we intend to give you a discourse of pure excellence. Joining us today is Ron E. Bradley of Follow the Bradleys Fun, and he has been under the sun of the Florida skies enjoying Tiana's Bayou Adventure. You wrote it yesterday, right, Ron?
Yes, yesterday morning.
Fantastic. And you had some good times while you were riding it. It seems you told me the audio was cranked up to decibels mankind is not made to even be able to comprehend.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. I had ridden it a couple times before, and I never heard the audio this loud. It was like, I don't know who this audio is for. Maybe they're trying to, I don't know if it was compensating for more people, or I don't know. That was a very strange part of it because I'm very audio sensitive. So I was like, you can turn the volume down, please.
So Ron, walk us through some of the people that you met, because this was a big day. A lot of influencers, vloggers, bloggers, all the types were out there. Those who want to report positively, those who want to report honestly, those who are somewhere in between. Who all did you get to see in the queue for opening day?
The first one that I noticed was a family. They do live streams called Goo to You, Goo, Goo to You, and then I saw JoJo from JoJo's World. I saw Adam the Woo, Tim Trekker. Diz Life of Ours is another channel that I saw. Rogue Nation, of course. Lorena Creole was out there, and she was part of my vlog. Let's see. Oh, and the fabulous Drunk 3PO. Jay.
That's what I was going to say. I think you saw this guy, Ron. I think you and Jay ran into each other.
Yeah,
hopefully it was not painful. Hopefully it was a good time.
It was fabulous. Jay's great. Jay's fantastic.
Absolutely. We love Jay, and he's always, Jay is so happy and so positive, and so are you, Ron, and I hope folks are tuning into your content as you continue to cover the theme parks honestly, which is in short supply. Of course, Drunk 3PO does a great job of that as well. But Ron, you sent me a video. Despite what many of the folks out there are saying, it seems to me that Tiana's Bayou Adventure on opening day, and despite the fact they drained the entire ride and apparently worked on it all day Thursday, it was struggle busing. And there aren't many people who are willing to report this because they're afraid they're going to lose their pixie dust cupcakes, not be invited to a media event. But folks, Ron, well, let me ask this. Ron, what time did you ride it in the morning yesterday?
Early. I had virtual queue boarding group 6, and I got in the queue at 10 minutes after 9 a.m. and I got on the ride about 50 minutes later. So the queue still took 50 minutes, about 10 o'clock.
All right, folks. So at 10 a.m., this was the experience Ron had.
So we got a message just now. The ride is supposed to resume momentarily. Interesting place to get stopped, though. That's for sure.
All right, Ron, so how long were you stuck on the lift hill?
I want to say that was 3 or 4 minutes. It was a little bit of time because what had happened is, like, at first when we were stuck, I'm like, do I have enough time to video this? Are we just going to be quick? And then I was there for like 2 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pull out the camera because we're still here. So, and it was weird because the other boat was like in the middle of the lift hill. Just like, I don't know if you're going to ask, are you ready? But yeah, we're ready anytime.
Now, Ron, I have reports that later in the day, the ride stopped and that the queue was even evacuated. And that might have been because of weather. That's what's seems to be claimed, at least at one point. This around 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Disney Food Blog said Tiana's Bayou Adventure is closed for weather right now. But it is strange that they would evacuate the ride completely. And some folks are telling me that it's their belief, and we'll show this. Some folks are telling me that it's their belief that Disney actually used the weather to do an extensive, long, not a short amount of time of trying to get the ride running again and sort of doing it in secret. Did you hear anything about that? Did you hear any grumblings from folks later in the day who were not able to ride because of quote unquote the weather?
Yeah. So here I was actually at that time, I was on Tom Sawyer's Island, and they evacuated Tom Sawyer's Island for the weather as well, which I thought that was strange, but okay. So the weather had not come in yet. I had wandered over to the castle, and I'm like, when it started to trickle, I ran into PhilharMagic. Once I got out of PhilharMagic, it wasn't raining, but as far as I know, Tiana's was not back up yet at that point in time. By the time I finally made it back over there, I want to say that it was 3:30 p.m. Now, my understanding is the ride did go back up, and then it may have been down for the rest of the day once the rain came again, because then it came like a monsoon.
Right, torrential rain poured later in the day. And we don't. And Ron, listen, I'm fine. I don't have any problem with Disney taking down the ride when it's an absolute monsoon, like you said. Typhoon Lagoon descending apparently on the Magic Kingdom. Earlier in the day, though, I'm hearing some folks saying, yeah, might have been some evacs happening around the Magic Kingdom to cover some butts to get this thing where it would continue to run for the rest of the day. Just hearing that, it's speculation. It's just,
I would say this about that. So there were so many people, and the ride had been running continuously, obviously with stops like I had at that point. It would not have surprised me had they kept it down a little bit longer to make sure that they are going through, because clearly the day before, I think they were working all night long, overnight, like with a fine-tuned comb, trying to make sure they had the water drained. They're going over every sensor. They did not want opening day to be the blunder that the other days had been. And I would almost say that it's probably good fortune for them that it did rain on opening day. So
that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so Ron, let's talk about then the quality of the ride. So throughout the celebrity previews, I'm going to call it that, the media previews, the AP previews, the cast member previews, and everybody else who got to preview this thing, animatronics were not working. There's been YouTube videos, compilations of things not functioning. At one time, Mama Odie apparently was trying to fall in the water. Things were bizarre. Ron, did you experience any animatronics that were not working within the first hour of operation on its day of debut, or did they have everything going, which should be the default? It should always be working, but in the first hour, everything working?
It seemed like everything was working. I did notice it's a little bit weird because, these animatronics have sensors that trigger their motions. It was really, like, I remember approaching the first Lewis animatronic, and I'm like, okay, he's moving around, but his mouth isn't moving yet. And then it seemed to move.
Well, Lewis has been the one that's been causing them a lot of problems.
Yeah. So, but other than that, here's the thing. I mean, you pass a lot of the animatronics so fast on this particular ride, the way they have. I keep wanting to call it Splash. I can't hardly help but call this thing Splash, but you pass it so fast, you don't really get much. I mean, I don't know what the story is. Basically, it's the same water ride with different decor.
Right. Lots of plastic plants.
Oh my God!
I gotta say, Ron,
when you get close to them, it looks like that whole Hobby Lobby thing or Michael's Craft thing. It really does. It's like, so what do they? It's like, pick this off at Tafiti and put it over here.
Glue it quick. This can't look like a mountain anymore.
It's better on Tafiti.
Yes. So, and Ron, I want to say too, I want to be very clear about this. We don't want this ride to be broken. We're reporting on it being broken. It's often broken. We hope that pattern stops. But we want people to get to ride the ride that they pay for and have a good time. And this ride largely is going to be one that you pay for. If you want to ride it, you get to hop in the lottery as you did. And savvy folks, they're going to be able to do that. But for the average family who just shows up, they're going to be paying money to ride this, at least for the foreseeable future. And that is causing some grumblings, Ron. Let's take a look at this article out of Gizmodo by Sabina Graves. It says, Disney made it more difficult to ride what you want just in time for Tiana's Bayou adventure. The Princess and the Frog themed attraction that replaced Splash Mountain is now open at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. This is not the kind of article that Disney wants going into a brand new opening. It says, if you're going to go down the elevated Bayou, sorry folks, I inserted one word there, to ride Walt Disney World's Tiana Bayou adventure, there's a few things you need to know to make sure you'll be able to experience the Magic Kingdom's newest exciting attraction. It won't have a traditional wake up early and rush to the line queue. There is no queue right now, well, unless it's virtual. But rather an online virtual queue, you'll have to wake up early to enter on the My Disney Experience app, or as a pay-as-you-go Lightning Lane, which has replaced Genie Plus just in time for the in-demand rides opening. It goes on to talk about this new situation where it's resort hotel guests staying at the Disney properties who are going to have a significant advantage in securing this thing. So, Ron, what are your thoughts? I haven't asked you specifically about what you think about this new system where Disney is rewarding hotel guests in a way that I think might knock many of the average folks out there, especially those who can barely afford the experience, knock them completely out of being able to reserve the rides they want. What do you think about this?
It's funny. I ran into somebody today that actually paid to ride it, and it's still on Genie Plus. It's not an individual Lightning Lane right now. Apparently, on Genie Plus, it is part of the when you just upgrade to Genie Plus, it is in the block of rides that you're allowed to go to outside of those individual Lightning Lane rides. My guess is they'll put this at top tier because they're going to tier the rides again like they did when it was Fast Pass Plus.
But it was too expensive to rename it back to Fast Pass Plus, which everyone, I mean, who in the world thought Lightning Lane was better than Fast Pass? If you managed to secure the copyright, the trademark on Fast Pass, like every theme park in the world would want to have Fast Pass. There's nothing better for a name to skip a line. So Disney, go back to it. Spend your piddly little 7-digit number, whatever it's going to take to, put the signage back and put Fast Pass back up over these attractions. Good.
Did they destroy the old signs, or couldn't they just pull them out of storage? I don't know.
They probably could pull many of them out of storage. I bet they're dumb enough that they destroyed some of them. They're definitely not going to let the Brer Critters, though, be back on a sign with a little watery thing. And I don't remember exactly what was on the Fast Pass for Splash, but you get the idea.
No, I just don't think Lightning Lane is really appropriate for Florida anyway.
Yay!
there are reasons why I won't go into. But
hey, Disney, don't call the next iteration of this Hurricane Alley either, geniuses.
Yeah. Anyhow, so it's going to put this in a pay
Hurricane lanes, Ron. I can't not say it. It's coming to my mind. Hurricane lanes. That's what Disney will come up with next.
Oh God! Please don't. Please
All right,
don't.
go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
No.
It popped in like Ray and the Ghostbusters with Stay Puft. It popped in. I couldn't help.
Oh my gosh! No, it's just so funny that this is going to be behind a secondary paywall, because in order to ride it, unless you get in the virtual queue, when you get into the virtual queue, there's still going to be roughly an hour wait. So people should know that ahead of time. It's not easy to get into the virtual queue. Literally, you have to be within about a second to a second and a half, 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. in 1 second. You got to be in that area to get it, or 1 to 1. It was funny. I remember being in the park at 1 o'clock today, and people were cheering that they got the virtual queue for Tiana's. But it's behind this paywall. When our resort guests, my understanding is they get a 7-day window before. Is that what you?
They get a 4-day head start on anyone else.
Yeah.
Now, let me go through the numbers with you, Ron, on this, because I'm going to explain why I think this is disastrous for the folks out there who can just barely afford to go to Disney. And they, by the way, if you've got a 5-year-old little girl or a 7-year-old little boy and they're excited to ride the rides and you just scrape and scratch to get them into the Magic Kingdom, those little boys and little girls deserve to be treated just like the uber rich little boys and little girls. And that's why I don't like this. Here's the numbers. So the Walt Disney World Resort has something like 30,000 resort hotel rooms. Okay. So if you just figure that those are accommodating at least 2 people, then you're going to be at minimum 50,000. Okay, let's run that number. So it's again, we try to be as kind as we can. So 50,000 people getting reservations 4 days ahead of everybody else means that the rest of the folks out there, the impoverished in comparison, they're going to be taking up those Journey into Imaginations and Muppet Vision, not fast passes, but lightning lanes, which are useless. They're meaningless. They're just taking your money at that point. So that's why I think it's a bad idea. But anyway,
no, absolutely. It's I mean, it's a benefit or a bonus to paying the extra $300 or $400 a night it costs to stay on property. But when you look at a 5-night stay, you're looking at $1,500 more for your family to stay on property than off property. And there's a lot of people that are gonna. I know people that have already been so frustrated with the situation with virtual queues, going all the way back to Rise of the Resistance. I had some friends come into town several years ago, and big Star Wars fans, and they did not get their 7 a.m. virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. I happened to be able to get one for myself, and we were fortunate enough to have guest relations, a very nice cast member, added them to my party and went ahead and put them into the virtual queue with me. But that is a pain for cast members to have to do.
And that's not going to happen every time either, Ron. You did some
very rare.
You did some really good talking to make that happen, because I can tell you that's not easy to do. But it's
also changed. I don't think cast members. I mean, this was several years ago, and I kind of think they're instructed to not do that anymore.
Well, you can imagine that if let's say that you're a New York resident and you fly all the way down to Florida to go ride one of these rides, and there's a virtual queue, you can't just go walk on the ride, and you're not in the virtual queue, you're not going to be very happy about that, I would say. I think there's going to be a lot of people. The good news on this is that I'm not sure there's going to be a very high demand for Tiana's Bayou Adventure after the first few weeks. And so I think they'll have to abandon, and I think they've already planned to do so, I think they'll have to abandon this and switch to just a standard queue by the time we get past Labor Day, because I don't think that this is going to hold on the first day. Of course, it's going to have a lot of people wanting to ride it. But as we go forward, I think they may run into some issues. And here's one reason, Ron. Here's one reason, Ron. Take a look at this tweet from Jonas J Campbell, investigative reporter for thatparkplace.com, and also the host of That Park Place, the YouTube channel, along with Vash Sky. He says, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens at Magic Kingdom at the Walt Disney World Resort today, and he's having fun with the trademark sign. After you buy your tickets, use the My Disney Experience app to see if Magic Kingdom has available reservations. If your reservation is confirmed, open up the app and try to enter our virtual queue lottery system. If that's not available, you could pay to get in line with Lightning Lane, entry by purchasing Genie Plus for each member of your party. In a few weeks, we will be replacing Genie Plus with Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Lightning Lane Single Pass. You can access these features using Genie, a free service inside the My Disney Experience app. If you have a disability, you could try your hand at Disney's Disability Access Service, or DAS, which you will be asked probing questions by a Disney cast member about your medical situation and daily life. Anecdotally speaking, you have a 1 in 4 chance of being approved for DAS, even if you are wheelchair-bound and qualify at other parks. Terms of service for interviewing include an agreement to never pursue legal action against the company as an individual or as part of one of our many class action lawsuits for which we are listed as a defendant. If you do not qualify for DAS, you'll be told to practice standing in line at home and be told that you might consider purchasing Genie Plus with Lightning Lane or Lightning Lane Multipass, depending on the date. And what he's doing here is mocking how difficult it is just to ride a freaking ride at Disney World. And then he put that alongside as a parallel to what happened to the Disney stock on Friday, which was it dropped almost 3% on the same day that Tiana's Bayou Adventure opened. So Tiana's Bayou Adventure is supposed to be this big deal, supposed to be driving crowds to the happiest place on earth, supposed to be doing the same at Disneyland later this year. It comes out, and on that exact same day, the stock drops. Not a good look, Ron. Not a good look. No, but at the same time.
Oh, I see what it is. It's like the splash, it's like when you go down the drop hill.
That's right. At the same time, Ron, people are having fun, and we want people to have fun. Walk us through some of the people that you saw having a good time on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. What was the attitude like on day one?
Well, as far as, there was a very good sized crowd. Obviously, a lot of people coming in to ride the ride day one. Best thing that I saw, and this has got to be fair, so many little girls of all different varieties of backgrounds clearly are wearing the Tiana dress, and they're dressed up, and they've got the Disney bounding on. There was one lady who really went so all out. I'm surprised that Disney let her do it that way, because she was really bounding as Tiana in the version.
They didn't want that bad PR today. They didn't want an article. that was article baiting. Yeah. But imagine telling her she can't go through there. Yeah, not a good day to do it.
But so much Disney bounding, so many, Tiana. A lot of people excited to ride this ride. I absolutely believe 100% Tiana deserves a ride of her own. Princess and the Frog, fabulous. The merchandise that they have for this ride, I think, is great. And I was like, where was this before? It's not like Princess and the Frog didn't exist before. And now they have this fabulous merchandise, including the light up little Ray, the firefly. And if you have two of them and they pass each other, they light up and like talk to each other. And I'm like, but all of this merchandise, it could have been out a long time ago and have nothing to do with the ride, because Princess and the Frog has been a property since 2009. So, I mean, I'm glad that Princess and the Frog and Tiana are getting that kind of good attention. Unfortunately, my issue is every time I ride the ride, there's so much red left, so much like Georgia type mountain, that you see that covered and it diminishes, it takes away from Princess Tiana and that experience of the whole Princess and the Frog storyline. And of course, there's a lot more we could talk about like that.
Well,
at
it makes no sense. I mean,
no.
You know, it makes no sense to try to make something look like a bayou and you're going in and out of a giant red mountain. It's just,
no.
Like we've said before, it's like if you said we're going to transform Big Thunder Mountain Railroad into a Kansas themed attraction.
Doesn't make sense.
There are no geographical structures that look like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Kansas. It's never going to work. It's the same way here, but at the same time, Ron,
People
it's
are
there,
having fun.
and we want the little girls to have a good time. We want them to enjoy it. We don't think this was a good idea. We think it was a terrible idea. We think sending guests to the salt mines right off the bat is a historical atrocity in terms of misunderstanding what that means. But for the happiness that little girls have, we hope that that's a positive thing, and we know it is. So
yeah, and we want it to work. That's all. I mean, at least
functional would be good. Functional would be good. But the stock not going well, dropping like some of those logs, and Disney better hope that those logs are not empty soon because of that virtual queue, or else, well, the media might pick up on it. Ron, thank you so much for going and riding yesterday and for stopping by and sharing your thoughts with us. And I hope folks will go check out your exclusive content covering the opening of Tiana's Bayou Adventure to the public, as well as before that. And you've got a channel that's just taking off. I mean, it is just exploding, and I hope folks will continue to support you. Tell the folks out there what you've got coming up real soon, Ron.
Follow the Bradley's Fun. You should be able to see the vlog on the channel, possibly, hopefully today. Still finalizing the editing on that, but it'll be opening day coverage of Tiana's Bayou Adventure and all of the hoopla surrounding it, although there wasn't a whole lot of hoopla, but there was a good amount of people, especially versus the last cast preview day, which was there was nothing. There was no.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to ask you a question, Ron. We're outroing, and here goes Pro interrupting the outro. Very unprofessional. Don't tell Jonas. Ron, were you there the day that Splash Mountain closed?
No, unfortunately, I was not.
Did you get a look at some of those crowds and what it appeared to be like on the day that Splash Mountain closed?
I saw. Yeah, I mean, I saw the coverage of it, and I mean,
how did it compare in your opinion?
Oh my gosh, I remember when it was announced that it was closing, and people rushed to the store to make sure they could buy all the merch that was available, afraid that it was going to go away. And this was back in. Remember in 2020, that's when it was announced, and everybody rushed to the store to buy this merch because they were afraid, oh my gosh, Splash Mountain's closing now. And then it didn't for like 2.5 years.
Right.
There was more hoopla over that announcement and people trying to get that merch that was left than there was like today.
It seems muted. It seems muted.
They had a virtual queue in the morning. Yesterday morning, when I walked in, there was a virtual queue for Tiana's merch. That virtual queue ended after, I don't know, an hour or two. When I went in the store in the afternoon, the Emporium, I mean, the merch was there. It was great, but I'm
still not paying $7 for a Tabasco bottle. Sorry, Ron.
Not a lot of that's a Disney Tabasco bottle. It should be $17. Little bag of popcorn is $8, $9.
It's filled with Mama Odie's liberal spit and rage, baby. Sorry, Jennifer Lewis. We're never going to forget that you lost your mind Well, there are jokes we could make about things that happened earlier in the week, but we won't, folks. We won't talk about losing minds. All right, Ron, we're losing our mind thinking that folks might not yet be subscribed to you. Folks, go do that and help us out right here. Click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below, and let us know your thoughts. And check out Vacation Radio, where Ron E. Bradley sings. And wait a minute, did you play any instruments on that song, Ron? Or did you just do the vocals?
I did all the vocals, including the background vocals. But
okay, all the vocals on Mr. Right, I believe is the name of the song. And folks, go check it out. It is a fantastic little ditty, and many other ditties waiting for you there. Folks, until we meet again, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
You better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio. WDW Pro Music Channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube, one of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga. He's Jose. That one seems a little bit foreign to you.